Greetings, Rebel fans. My name is Jason Kelly. This is Let's Run Live, a pregame show. Going to be really short tonight as I've got to get down to the Thomas and Mack, but I wanted to get something up pregame in case you're driving down, want to have something to listen to, or, just getting ready for the game at the Thomas and Mack here. It's starting in about an hour and 15 minutes, so we are about I don't know, 75 minutes away from the start of the game. Pretty fun. I'm looking forward to it. Obviously the Running Rebel season hasn't gone quite as we'd hoped, but at the end of the day, this is our biggest rivalry as a team. Reno is the team up north, and this is our chance at a home game to take them down. And I'm really excited. I think that this game against San Jose that we're coming off of was a decent enough performance for the Rebels. DJ Thomas not expected to play tonight. Again, like we've been saying for a couple of weeks now, or for a week now at least, DJ Thomas is done for the year. Regardless of what Kevin Kruger will try and lie and tell you, DJ Thomas is probably done. Definitely done. And that sucks for him. It sucks for Rebel fans. We love DJ, but seeing this team kind of operate without him is really interesting. And I think Brooklyn Hicks, from what I've seen, is also done. From what Mike Ramala said, I don't know if he's done for the year, but I don't think we're going to get Brooklyn Hicks tonight, which I believe finally means that we will see Jalen Bedford inserted into the starting lineup, which is something that is long overdue. Jalen Bedford is easily our best scorer right now. Especially at least from the guard position. I mean, I guess you could say maybe Bear Cherry is as good of a scorer, but Jalen Bedford's just too good of an offensive talent to be sitting on the bench. And you may say, well, hey, Jalen Bedford's getting the same number of minutes as a lot of the starters is. Yes, but UNLV, especially in the Colorado State game, started that game out in such a big hole, down 14-2. And so I think inserting Jalen Bedford into the starting lineup is going to be really good tonight. And I don't know that for sure yet. The team has not announced the starters, but I would assume if Brooklyn Hicks, as what seems to be reported, I don't think Brooklyn Hicks is playing tonight. And so I think we can assume that Jalen Bedford will jump into the starting lineup. So let's dive into the matchup. We're going to keep this short, probably about 10 minutes is all. I wish I could do longer than that. But I got to get down to the game. So let's jump up the KenPom preview and let's take a look at the matchup. Both teams are dealing with some injury concerns, some injury issues. Trey Coleman? So Tyler Rollison has kind of stepped in as the starter at the point guard for Reno. Nick Davidson, Kobe Sanders. Reno's a pretty big team. Justin McBride is probably my favorite player on Reno. Pretty good team player, 6'7", got a good frame. Nick Davidson's a very good player. Reno is a team that is dealing with some injuries. They've had a bit of a down year compared to what they were expecting coming into the year. Still, Reno's ranked 72nd in KenPom. KenPom does have UNLV as a 1-point favorite in this game, giving the Rebels a 51% chance of prevailing. But KenPom really does see this as a complete toss-up, which I believe the gambling markets do as well. Reno is a 2-point favorite, in 2.5 to 2-point favorite from what I can see from the sports books around. So, gambling, computers, everybody sees this as a complete and utter toss-up. I think both these teams, UNLV at 96 and Reno at 72. Reno got a couple of better wins in the non-conference slate than UNLV did. And so that's why they're so much higher in KenPom. And they started the season, just frankly, a lot higher in KenPom than UNLV. So the computers think Reno is probably a bit better than they actually are. But this is a game that I think the Rebels will have a lot of freedom. And I think that you might see a bit more structured offense in this game. I'm hoping to see I would love to see more zoom action from the Rebels. Have Jaden Henley come off of down screens and into a pick and roll at the top of the key. I think that would be an excellent, that's basic basketball. Every team basically does that every single game. But the world's kind of our oyster in terms of UNLV. And you see a lot of really good statistical things from this Reno team, which is kind of bizarre considering their record. I mean, Reno on the year, they've been putrid in conference play. Reno is, I believe they're 8-9 in conference play. They just beat Wyoming. They walloped Wyoming at home. Um, Reno has 16-12 on the season. UNLV, that was kind of the turning point of their conference play schedule. They did lose a really tough game to Boise State at home, where Boise State had they kind of fought back to get into that game, and Boise State ultimately ended up pulling it out, giving Boise State a pretty good. Boise State's been on a great run here. They've positioned themselves pretty well to maybe make a leap into the NCAA tournament, which is not something that you were saying a month ago when they lost to Colorado State and New Mexico and San Diego State at home. And they recently just beat Utah State at home. So Boise State is surging. But UNLV, this team really hasn't lost any games. This Rebel team really hasn't lost very many games that they should have lost outside of that Wyoming home game. This team is we kind of know what this team is. They're an okay, mediocre type roster type team. They're a pretty good defense, not a great defense, but a good defense, and a mediocre offense. Ken Palm has UNLV at 159 in offense right now, which is not good. 64th in defense is the best mark of the Kevin Kruger era, but what we have is two pretty mediocre teams, two mid-level Mountain West teams going up against each other. The Rebels' keys to victories in this game. One, I think Jaden Henley is going to have to do a good job on Kobe Young. He's a player that I wanted the Rebels to target in the transfer portal. Obviously, I think Reno was willing to spend a little bit more money to get him than we were. But he's a 6'7" guard that excels in the mid-range. Not really seen as a winning player, never been on very many great teams in his tenure in college basketball, but supremely talented. And I think that Jaden Henley's kind of our 6'7" guard version of Kobe Young. I think that's going to be a big matchup. I'm hoping that Henley can put forward a really good defensive effort. I'm hoping to see a good night out of Julian Rishwain. And I think you're going to be able to tell how this game's going by if the UNLV offense is generating catch and shoot looks for Julian Rishwain. Not a lot of ball handling on the team right now, so UNLV is going to have to be creative about how they generate those shots. But I think you're going to see a lot of post action. This is going to be a game where Bear Cherry is going to get a ton of looks, and I'm hoping that with good off ball movement, maybe a down screen or a floppy action, coming off of a post up. First the post up, or a floppy action coming off of a post up that could bring an extra defender. I'm hoping that Julian Rishwain could get a couple of open looks tonight. His 3-point percentage has fallen off as the season has gone on, but a lot of that is just because he's been taking very difficult shots. And so, a sign of how this Rebel team is doing is going to be how the Rebels are able to generate looks for him as a 3-point shooter. You're going to see I think we're going to see 40 minutes of Jalen Bedford tonight. So if the Rebels are going to win this game, it's going to be because Jalen Bedford has his best game of the season. Essentially, the Rebels are going to need that from him. And the other guy I'm looking out for, I want to see if Bear Cherry can put his big boy pants on and manhandle the Wolfpack. I think this is a game where he has Davidson. I think there's a little bit of favorability in that matchup for Bear Cherry. If the Rebel offense and the Rebel guards can get the ball to Bear Cherry in the post and even okay position, you might see him go to work a little bit, and that would be really exciting. I think we could see a good game out of Bear tonight. Looking forward to Jalen Hill. Jalen Hill, when he's scoring when he's scoring efficiently, the team is generally doing pretty well. So I'm hoping that he can get good drives with good momentum to the basket. That's going to be key to generating offense for this team. And as for stopping Reno, they don't have to be too aggressive on the defensive side. The Rebels have had success in the past under Kevin Kruger, forcing turnovers and being a really aggressive on-ball with a really aggressive on-ball and off-ball defense. I think with this limited rotation, you might see a bit more conservative defense from the Rebels. All the Rebels really have to do to shut down this Reno offense, which just Reno offense isn't bad, but all they have to do is take away the easy shots. They can't afford to give Reno, 10 to 20 easy points in this game, because points I think are going to be at a premium. I don't think this is going to be a very high scoring game because the Rebel defense has been better. So what do I think is going to happen in this one? I think the Rebels are going to win. Blurt, who's been on a generational run here the last couple of days. Blurt, you really have, as a burner. Bear's going to have to rebound. The team's going to have to play together. The Kevin Kruger era is coming to an end, but whether if he wins this game, he can finish his tenure as the Rebels coach with a winning record versus Reno, which, say what you want negative about him, that is still a positive thing. If Kevin Kruger can pull this one out, he will finish with a 5-3 record versus Steve Alford. And so I'm hoping, for his sake, and for the sake of really running Rebel basketball, I'm hoping that we can at least send Kevin out with a winning record versus Reno. What do I think is going to happen in this game? Well, looking at the matchup, looking at the numbers here, I think that the Rebels are probably going to hold this Reno offense. Reno's ranked 66 in offense. I think you're going to see the Rebels hold Reno to under a point per possession, which is a pretty good metric to kind of go by. I think it's going to be a low-scoring affair, and I think the Rebels are going to win an absolute squeaker at 63-62. It's going to be a close game. I don't know exactly how it's going to go down. I feel the same way that the sports books do and the computers do. It's going to be a 1 or 2 point game coming down at the end, hopefully. And I do quickly want to address something that was tweeted out by the social media account of Keith Whitfield, who is the president of UNLV. He tweeted, and I'm going to quote him here. Just because I think it's one of the most preposterous things. Is it the end of the world? No, but I think it's ridiculous that the university president would tweet this. He said, Keith Whitfield, our president, it's his account, whether or not he tweeted it, he's responsible for what's posted on it. He said, and I guess I'll share my screen with this too, now so you guys can see it. Let's share my screen here. Share my screen. You guys can see my Twitter. He said, "It's rivalry night in Nevada. Come out and cheer on the Runnin' Rebels as they take on," I'm not going to call them that, but he used Nevada when describing the University of Reno. Pathetic. And he said, "Your support makes all the difference. No matter what color you're wearing, we are all Nevadans. Go Rebels." That's a pretty big, it's not a huge deal, but at the end of the day, that's a pretty big unforced error. And really just a pathetic thing to tweet. All you had to say was, "Come cheer on the Runnin' Rebels as they take on the team up north." Come to the game. If you're last minute feeling, if you're watching this and you're thinking last minute, should I go or not? Should I shell it out? Yes, come, wear red. I do. If you're from the University of Reno, do not come. I do not want you there. We are not all Nevadans. We are dominated by one flagship university, and that is the University of Nevada, Las Vegas. And the toothless Hicks meth heads from Reno, not only are they not welcome, they are not my favorite people. So embrace the rivalry. It's a silver state. It's our state. It's a red state. It's not a gray/blue, whatever crappy colors that Reno is using. And yeah, embrace the rivalry. Don't be like UNLV's president. Actually embrace the rivalry. My mother says, "So ridiculous." Yeah. How could you tweet that? And how is it still up? Like, why? I'm not claiming that there's a lot of great thinking coming out of UNLV leadership right now. But that's just dumb. It's just stupid. What an unforced error. And it's not something that anybody's going to care about 2 weeks from now, but it's just stupid. Just be smarter than that. So I think the Rebels are going to pull it out 63-62. I think it's going to be a fun game. I think it's going to be a decent crowd tonight. And I can't wait. I think it's going to be fun. So I'll see you guys at the game. Go ahead and shoot me a message if you want me to meet you somewhere. My mom says it's fine to be friends at the end of the game. Go in with the mindset to fight to the end. In fact, I do not believe, Mom, that it is fine to be friends at the end of the game. They are the traitors from the north, so I don't think we need to befriend our rivals. But I'm joking a little bit. Yeah, go into the game with a fire mindset. They're our rivals. Don't treat them with respect. You don't have to be outwardly ridiculous, but don't treat them with respect. They don't deserve respect. Anyway, they're Reno. We're Vegas. They suck. We're great. Appreciate you guys. Talk to you after the game, and let's run. My mother says, "Oh, be nice." To Reno, never. See you guys.